Just as I hit play, I have to clear my throat. It's hard to be me. I tell you, it's hard to be me. Although it's harder to be other people. So I mean, I guess I'm not doing the worst in the world, but I ain't doing the best either. All right, we're gonna continue playing, and yeah, I got 1,001 problems. So that's what I love about this game. Yeah, I'm still really not prepared for the ogre. And I'm doing bullshitty things like this, which, yeah, that is a product of my autism. I'm not saying that as a buzzword. I have Asperger's. I have that, so I I've done this so many times where what I'll do is I'll build up this really impressive fortress, and I'll have a werewolf or an ogre and some type of creature just come in and ruin my day. Um, it happens often. And right now, we're still in the first year, so I still should be okay. I mean, essentially, the plan right now is if something comes, I just got to levy a military forces ASAP, and you know, hope for the best. Sometimes it works out pretty well. Although I don't really have too much as far as military dwarves, as I call them, military dwarves. Open therapist. Do a little strategizing. Plus, another thing, I'm addicted to collecting stuff. Vegetables. That's what I meant to say. All right, so as far as military, I got a few actually. A mace dwarf, a hammer dwarf. See, maces are not that impressive as of a weapon. But yeah, so I got two that can shoot, and I got a. Yeah, I mean they have some military training, so actually I'm not too bad. Could send out my axe dwarf here, who also has one in student. Not that that's super necessary, but it's a thing. Yeah, I got it. I do have a bit of a military. I do. Okay. Hammer obviously is the best. Yeah, hammer. Look at that, 75. I mean, I could just get them to learn something else. I could do that. They're also good at shield. Wow. Mace dwarf, swords dwarf. Yeah, I mean, it's not super necessary to um, Dodger and Mark dwarf. Oh, another one. Wait, who are you? Moldath, military. It's a dude too. Yeah, male dwarves and lesbians are good for the military. That's not like some weird anti-PC thing. It's just that female dwarves, when they have babies, they will carry them everywhere, including into battle. Which I saw one that was pretty funny, where they, oh, you suck at it, huh? Yeah, maybe though, maybe. Well, for now you're digging, and I'm gonna keep you digging. If I decide to switch over, you suck at it, but maybe. Um, you do have a little bit of skill though. You're just bad at ambushing. You're good at shooting. You're just bad at ambushing. That improves. But yeah, actually, I saw this one stream. I forget who it was, where the baby was actually punching like a goblin in the face. It's like badass baby. It was pretty funny, but by and large, oh, well, also danger rooms. Like if I ever built a danger room, I saw a lot of um, videos where people, oh, that would go very wrong, very wrong. Yeah, I think I'm gonna soup these guys up. I regret doing this happiness thing just because I mean, it's very helpful. I mean, it makes them gung ho, but I don't mind the challenge of, you know, yeah, it's interesting. Oh, it's going down a bit. I'm just not gonna mess with it anymore. But as you could see, oh man, we got a little bit of stress here. Okay, this is a baby. This is a baby? No, it's a child. Okay, good. 4 years old. Yeah, because like I was saying, I had a problem with babies starving to death, 2 years old. That's still okay. That means that, yeah, I don't like getting caught in storms, though. But before I actually have babies, infants, where they're being carried around, I want to make sure that I have a water source. So that's another one of my 1001 problems. I'd say 1,000,001, but the game's not that complex. Let's see. Where is the aquifer? Where is it? Where is it? All right, I think I'm gonna do some more digs. I think I'm gonna turn these into towers eventually too. That was the other thought I had. This is in there, but that's fine. I could put some blocks around here and then go up here and then have the tower up here, something like that. So what I think I'm gonna do, yeah, let me see. J. All right, I gotta know what's going on. So this will be where another. It's a lot of towers. It's an unnecessary amount of towers, but now I'm gonna go down to 99, baby, because. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Because I gotta know where it is. What the hell? In fact, I'm gonna go down to 98 here. Yeah. It's rather inefficient. Hopefully this gets me some intel. I'm thinking actually I should run into it over here in this corner-ish type area, because I came in. I didn't really go on the big map. Like I came in this way, and I'm like, oh look, aquifer, and it was aquifer. All I didn't go this. I know what I'm talking about. I don't know if you do. Sorry. Yeah, one thing I've noticed, I'm not really good at explaining things so much. So, yeah, it's a problem. But and I didn't bother putting in like little things of what I meant. I just kind of left it there. It's what I did. This way I don't have to floor that up right away. Put that there. No, not now. Okay. Jet blocks. Yeah, I'll fill it in later. Doesn't matter. I mean, it would be fine, but I gotta figure out how far out we're going. Right there's not bad. It's an indicator of a parameter. I could always change this. I kind of like it. Now this is not efficient, granted, but it's a statement. It's a statement as to how they want their fortress to look and how they care about it. Yeah, cool. I think I'd probably complete this, but it's easier just to kind of pick at it than yeah, 99. Yeah, I'm going to be running out. So this jet wall, let's see what I can do. I gotta stop doing. I was just complaining about how I get lost in these rabbit holes. Those weren't the words I used, but I know what I mean. And I'm not dealing with. Okay, I gotta start dealing with. Stay focused. Stay focused. Talking to me. All right. So. Yeah. Get some cages. That works. Then at one point, I will I'll start working on the dining room a little bit more rather than just doing everything all at once. I mean, getting enough furniture for a dining room is not difficult. In fact, even though I was just saying I should focus on what's important, I might as well put down a couple chairs. Because why not? Yeah, why not? It's not like there's an ogre coming or anything. There is, but... Alright, see what do I got. So, yeah. Oh, I sometimes even go even crazier in the dining room where I want to match them up with the right type of, you know, it's almond wood, and then I'd want an almond wood table. Oh, no. Maple. This is cool. Alright, oh, maple chair. Cool. Alright, so that'll be a little bit of a dining room. Oh, I don't have any doors. Well, it is what it is. Alright, so I'll have at least a little bit of a dining room. I'll have 2 tables and chairs for the dining room of 23 dwarfs. That should make them less pissed. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe even more. But it's like, it's a start. We're going to do some more. I don't know. Let's blow back of it. I don't know. Alright, so... Alright, and also this is in the process of being built. And it should be accessible. Yeah. Yeah, I thought for whatever reason this was not accessible, but it is. Yeah. A little bit more structured in there. And then once that gets down, well, you know the drill. If you don't, you'll see it. You'll see it in real time. Oh, that's actually further out than it needs to be. That's fine, actually, because, yeah, I'll bring that in. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'll bring that in. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Alright, so... Yeah, I gotta... Okay. Cage trap. Go right here. Bronze mechanisms. Yeah, this one right here I'm going to use. Oh, gotta put you on pause. Alright, I am cutting in because my voice cut out.
Hi, I'm Dustin.
That's my friend Dustin. Uh, yeah, it didn't go well with me. You
You're
can.
gamer one.
All right, yeah, he's introducing myself. I'm saying things I can't hear me, but I'm trying to basically
Yeah,
cover.
don't forget who you are. It's always important
Yeah,
to remember who you are.
I'm talking something about the program that we have going. I was like, there's a
Well,
thing. I don't.
it's hard to find you on YouTube. I'm
He's.
looking at Gamer One, and
I just started the channel
it's
basically,
how do I pull you up?
and I'm telling him now. He actually helped me come up with the name. Actually, he was a friend of mine. He actually helped me with
There
this.
we are.
Yeah, there I am. So essentially,
Dwarf Fortress, kill and dam. One day ago.
yeah. So I'm kind of just sort of have my friend come in and ask a couple questions. I thought it would be a little different.
All right. So now
Uh,
I can click on Gamer One, and I can see all of the. There we are. There's your profile.
so at this
I
point,
play games on this channel.
just tell me.
I tend to say whatever is on my mind, and sometimes my mind thinks in swear words. So this channel is not for everybody. Great
Fuck yeah.
disclaimer. I don't enable comments on my videos. If you have any problems with any of my content, feel free to bitch all you want about it on Twitter.
That's what
No, I
Twitter's
do
for.
not have a Twitter account. I hope you enjoy, because that's the point. Either way, have a nice day.
Yeah, so that's my introduction.
It's Gamer One.
I don't know when he's going to cut it in and out. So this is, the pitfall of doing it this way. Actually, I can kind of see where he's going to talk. All right, so we're in a lull. Yeah, so I was just in the middle of putting down a cage trap, and I think I was telling him that I can't pick the cage, but something about like I always like to keep everything at a minimum of.
We should just err on the side of not very familiar.
Yeah, he's not very familiar with the game.
I'm going to show my ignorance, and it's quite significant. I'm very excited to learn from what I know theoretically. So explain to me what's going on here. Describe this thing that I'm seeing.
I'm telling him a little bit about how I've been showing my ignorance this every video so far. It was a little pun, kind of ruined it now, but yeah, I'm just kind of giving him the lowdown as to what I'm doing.
I love it.
There was the pun. So yeah, man, I wish it captured my audio. I had a whole bunch of things to say. All right, so geez, I explain a lot to him, and sorry, I hate to be complaining about it, voicing over a complaint about my own video, but it is what it is. All right, so I think I'm just telling him about how I'm preparing for whatever creature comes by, whether it be an ogre or whatever kind of beast that I'm inevitably going to have, and then it's not usually an army that you have to worry about right off the bat. Usually because I'm still within my first year. It's hard for me to see because it's on a smaller screen. I hope this is coming out. I've never done this before. Actually, I'm pretty new to YouTube. I see a spike coming up. I'm actually looking because I can see where his voice is going to come up. I don't even know how this is
Were
going to turn.
llamas?
Yeah, I was talking about.
Where else in the world can you see a were llama?
I had a were llama problem once.
There
Actually,
it is.
yeah, I had a were llama problem once, and I was explaining how again.
There's your next blockbuster right there. The attack of the were llama.
Yeah, and
The Steven Seagal.
Another
That
pun.
would be an epic battle. Epic battle right there.
Yeah, I said Steven Seagal and Nick Cage, and said something about how I hate Steven Seagal because he's an asshole. Well, from what I understand, as far as what I read about him being an abusive son of a bitch, but
Steven Seagal would prevail in that in no uncertain terms. He would destroy the were llama.
Again, about the pun about the movie. I don't know. I don't know how this is turning out. Well, I'm just trying to make lemonade out of the lemon that.
All right, so we got the were llama.
Yeah.
We got the. Yep. We're in date 151.
Still the first year. Oh yeah, exceptional. That's the That's my bare minimum, and I used to like to use exceptional and masterwork at every point in all my fortresses. I say something about how my sort of the dream is Moria. Although obviously you'd have to have an embark the size of the whole. Instead of 4x4, I'd have to do the whole area, and computers, or at least computers nowadays, can't handle that in 2017. Maybe in 100, a few decades from now, we could do Moria on Dwarf Fortress. I'm still babbling about the mechanism. I don't remember exactly what I'm saying, but there we go. I place it finally. So I go back to the game, and at this point, oh yeah, I start. I think I'm running it. Am I running it? Oh no, it's still paused. But I'm just talking about the situation. Um, oh, okay, yeah. I'm looking between the craft stores and okay. So I'm gonna actually.
Yeah, tell me more. Guardian statue. What is
Oh,
this?
a guardian statue. Essentially, I make statues and I put cage traps around them. So, say if you have a troll come through with an army, or an Etten or something, or even a Sasquatch, they're going to want to knock it over. And a lot of times they end up doing it, but they get caught in the cage trap, and then I just reset it. So that you'll see. I eventually will start making some more. Some more statues. At this point in time, I have not actually created the next video after this, so I know how this ends. We're not quite halfway through. We're a little bit more than a quarter way through, not quite a third. Uh, so I know what happens. I don't do a whole lot. A lot of it's on pause. A lot of it is me talking to my friend. Boyer and I start making bows too, I think, don't I? I start talking about the fact that I need
Okay.
a military. I think, or at least I do at some point. I don't know if that's what I'm saying right now. Yeah. See here, I'm going to military, and I'm looking at the dwarves now. Essentially, a little foreshadowing here. I do create a military. All the dwarves you see with military skill there.
Tell me about Moral.
Moral is the hunter, Dustin. I told you that before, but it's a time
Oh
lapse thing.
yeah, and more. This is exhausting. 83 years old.
Yeah, you
Hunt.
said tell me more about him, and I said, oh, I could give you all the information you want. And at some point I'm saying how the orange text is rusty, and how he has discipline, and how that's. I don't even think I got to it, but discipline is obviously, well, to me and players of this game. Oh, and now I'm kind of kind of kicking myself over doing this cheat because I'm pretty good at keeping the dwarves' happiness, and I'm noticing that the happiness goes down. It only has
Yeah.
one way to go. But there's some stress
Yeah.
out there. I mentioned something about that, and
Fine, fine. Yeah, we got some fine little dwarves right now.
yeah, yeah. So I'm explaining, the skill set that he has developed.
Uh,
Archer didn't actually put anything into it, but Ambusher and Mark's Dwarf, I put like a 2 or a 3, I think, respectively, in there somewhere. I think 3 in Ambusher and 2 in Mark's Dwarf. I remember that's in episode 0. If you're so curious and you need to know right now, there is an answer that is findable on my channel.
Where are you looking right now?
I don't remember.
I see.
I could just pretend like he's
Yes.
talking to me in real time and make a silly conversation, but that wouldn't really work, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Okay, the rusty ones. Yeah, competent poet.
yeah, that's where I'm telling you about
Yeah.
that.
So he's like
Uh,
a bad rapper.
well, he's a rusty rapper. I don't have a
It's
bar yet.
rusty.
I
It's
said something
rusty.
about
Yeah,
that.
he's been mentioning and he's been ambushing. He's been doing what a hunter does, and he's a
Yeah.
little rusty on his other skills.
Yeah. Well, and this is all in lieu of creating the military, because that's what I really want to get up and running before I have my first invader. Uh, yeah, the rest of the videos aren't going to go like this. If this is a little choppy and annoying, this is going to be the only one. And if you want to jump around on this video, as I mentioned, a lot of this is on pause, and it's me catching up with Dustin. And I wanted to create
Yeah.
something. Yeah, yeah. I also wanted to create something that I hadn't really seen. I just wanted to do something a little different, even though this seems to be a little bit more stuttering than normal with the fact that my audio went out. Um, he's not exactly an expert in the game, but I thought it would be kind of neat because I've been playing this game nonstop since 2011. It's my favoriteest game of all time. I love this game. Um, I'd say it was made for me, but that's not true. It was made for Toady. He's the one who made it. And I love this game. Uh,
You know, that's the thing about Utopia. We think we got it, and it's just right out of our fingertips.
that's not true. Nobody thinks that they have Utopia. If they do, they're deluded. I'd say something like that. I don't know. But I was talking about how I
Yep.
try and make the environment as perfect as possible or something. I don't remember exactly. Um, but yeah, so this is also I'm trying to get the military up and running, and I also wanted to try and do something a little different that I haven't seen. So, like, considering I'm such a vet, and I'm kind of well, not really. I mean, I've played it so much. I want to know kind of like what would somebody who doesn't play the game, what questions would they have? So I thought that would be a little bit of an interesting angle to just you know, um, just sort of like have him sort of like if you see something and just sort of have some questions. So even though I don't really run this as a tutorial and I'm kind of all over the place, it's kind of fitting for me because I'm all over the place myself. Um, but yeah, the other ones will
Okay.
kind of be like the past ones. He's going to say something soon.
Okay. So you can watch the skills developing.
Yeah, you can. Oh, and I was talking about how the strange mood, the child, the 4-year-old, got great in stone crafting. Although it's, I mean, mostly what I got out of that is an artifact. I mean, eventually she will be very valuable, but since she's 4, I gotta wait 8 years before she's 12. By then, I'll probably have a stone crafter that's even better than her. But I gotta have that crown. I think in a little bit, I'm gonna jump in and show the crown. Um, blah blah blah. Look at the stone crafting. Blah. I don't know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying now. I don't remember what I said, but something like that. So, still kind of pouring over that. And now I'm going down here. All right, so that's where the trade depot is going to be. Oh, yeah, this is where the crown is. And I show the crown again. I think he reads off the information, even though I did that earlier video. So, yeah, 4,800. I mentioned that that's not very, very expensive for a. It's pretty cheap for an artifact, actually.
Jet crown.
Hmm.
All crafts dwarfship is of the highest quality, is encrusted with cushion jet capuchons. Yeah, this object menaces with spikes of kakapo bone. On the item is an image of a blue peafowl in jet.
It's our only artifact, and
There it is.
there it is. So, yeah, there's the little makeshift. It's basically where all the artifacts go. I have the. Spoiler alert! Not that it's that much of a spoiler. I do get another strange mood, and he doesn't start on the project yet. Well, you'll see what happens, but that's where that one's going to go too, because that is where all the artifacts. Basically, anything that could be an artifact uh, is in that stockpile or assigned to that stockpile. Okay, I'm talking about. Yeah, there's the dormitory. So I got 23 dwarves and 25 beds. I'm set, and actually, you don't even need quite as many beds as dwarves, considering they don't all sleep at the same time. And I also mentioned something about the game's not perfect. Like sometimes the dwarves will still get annoyed by sleeping in the dirt, even though there's beds available. Oh, you can see on the bottom left, that hasn't been dug down. I'm still questing for the aquifer. I'm still questing for the aquifer, actually, even at this time of day. Another spoiler alert for you. These aren't huge spoilers. Um, and oh, yeah, I go through this and then I give up, and then I'm telling him how you figure out where the caverns are, because if I go down to 95, I realize that for some reason I forget how to do it. Oh wait, no, that's something else. I was going to show him the commands. So as you can see, 90 I mentioned to him is, and I think I mentioned this before, but again, 90 is the highest floor, or the highest floor of the highest cavern. So that means I'm going to hit it before 90 because there's some room. The caverns aren't necessarily that big, but I guess I start worrying around 95. I say it's something like
All right,
that.
so describe what you're doing by quote unquote cheating here.
Oh, I mentioned the cheats about how I pump up the dwarves with um, physical and
Yeah, go
mental.
ahead.
I found the word when I did it, but I'm not always good at remembering words. Yeah, I'm showing him how
Yeah,
the two numbers are the same. Normally, you have one that's lower because it's potential, but they're all mighty,
yeah,
and yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then so you see the last wave down there, as you can see. Yeah,
yep.
they're not quite there yet, but they will be because I am going to do that. Another spoiler for you. Again, very minor spoiler.
Mighty.
Mighty.
Yeah, so you got some beastie guys.
Yeah, they're kind of like the Navy SEALs of dwarves. So, and I think I'm kicking myself for doing that again. I mean, it's fine. I mean, it's good. I mean, I have some really unshakable dwarves, like the first crew and one on the second one. I said something, even though it seems terrible, you could kill their entire family; they'll still be, in good spirits, which is not realistic. So, you know, I mean, because essentially you're creating a story, and these dwarves are really, really, really a little too psyched up for a good story. It's a weird story. That's kind of how I think of it, because you're creating a story. Everything has consequences. I mean, everything is linked together. It's very serial as opposed to episodic. I mean, the what I mean by that, dwarves will uh, they have a history, they have a life, they have a death, they have events that happen throughout their life, and all of them do. All creatures do. That's why I'm so amazed by this game, and it does the world generation from the beginning. Those of you who are pretty familiar with this game already know that. If you don't know what's going on with this game, I don't know that should even be watching, but there's some info for you anyway. And I'm talking about the finding the aquifer again, aquifer. I think it's aquifer. I think that's what it's called. Oh, and I mentioned how, see, I have water here. Oh, and then I forget, it was like, I think it's autumn. I don't know. But it's winter. It's winter right now, not autumn. And I kind of get lost in trying to find out what season it is. That's me doing that now, being confused. Um, but I mentioned the fact that I do have some water, but it's not necessarily clean water considering it's stagnant or potentially stagnant. It could be dirty. The only time you're going to get it is if it's from a stream or ideally a brook. A brook you can just get it pretty easily. A stream it's actually harder. You could end up with some swimming skill or a possibly drowned dwarf. So that's a risk. I don't have a river though or a stream or anything. I apparently I have an aquifer. I think it's aquifer. I keep saying it wrong.
There
I
is a
have,
lot of information in here, though.
isn't there? So
This is
I
a significant amount of information.
yeah, I agree. So uh, so I have to find the aquifer because I want to find out. Because I want to, until I have, because if I have dwarven infants, because I had this one game where I had infants that kept dehydrating and dying, and it was awful. So I don't want that to happen this time. Right now, I think I'm all right because I got kids. The youngest kid I have is 2, but that's still walking around and drinking booze because they're dwarves. It's just the nature of the game. But apparently, babies do not drink alcohol. I think I did say this in the previous video, but I'm not sure. I don't think it was this one. I think I'm talking about the wall. It's a jet wall. It's I like jet. Jet's cool. It's a black stone. Um,
Hmm.
and I think I'm mentioning the fact that I don't really need to be building the wall at
Okay.
this point, or something. I don't know. I'm saying things and he's responding. Is that for info? I don't remember what I'm saying here. Um, I think I'm still talking about the aquifer and possibly the caverns and how I may breach the caverns and how that's not ideal. I do mention that if you breach the caverns and then you dig into some type of light soil, it starts spawning mushrooms and trees and stuff like that, which isn't something you could deal with it though. I mean, you could smooth it out. There's certain ways you can deal with it, which I'm eventually going to have to do. Spoiler alert: I do breach the caverns. So there's another spoiler for you. We're a little bit more halfway through. These are not the biggest spoilers. Um, oh, I'm trying to show him what it's okay. I'm trying to show him Because I was talking about Dwarf Therapist and how I make the puns like that. I call it Dwarf Spreadsheet because it doesn't really give you much therapy. And I'm trying to show him. Oh, okay, and this is where I'm confused, and I'm trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, no, no, this is where I'm souping up the dwarfs. All right, now I'm just don't remember where. I remember the stream, the video a little bit, but yeah, I think I pause it at one point and I soup up all the dwarves, and I also make a comment about. Yeah, I feel so good. Well, you feel even better now. I also make a comment about how without Dwarf Therapist, it's almost like therapy for the player because if you don't have Dwarf Therapist, you have to go in manually and change them. And I think I try and do that, but I forget how to do it because obviously I don't do it anymore. Oh, I think, yeah, I've already been. Oh, okay. I'm just showing him. See, look, the dwarf is souped up. I think I do the one right under him. And then I pause it and I do the rest. Um, yeah. So the game's not that clunky, although I think it is rather clunky at this point.
Okay.
All right, so there, I pause it. I come back, and then voila! So I show him that. I think is where I get into the difference between doing things on Therapist versus in the game. So you can see that I heightened physical, heightened mental on all of them. Allergies suck, I tell you. I think I'm trying to get sound sense back up because it wasn't working. I hate how I always have a tickle in my throat. It's not just when I'm doing videos, but it's especially annoying when I'm doing videos because I don't enjoy coughing and I don't enjoy sharing it. For some reason, I can't find sound sense. Usually that's
So
because
these
I'm
two people have created quite a lot of
currently
options
looking for it.
within this construct here.
Talking about the creators, Toady created it, and Zach actually, his brother helps him out. I'm mentioning, about how it's going to be in beta for a good 20 years, according to Toady. And oh yeah, this is where first I forget LS list. Um, yeah, I'm
What
confused over
about
simple things.
question mark line man?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I told him, but yeah, help command. Normally I know this, but sometimes my brain just goes sideways. Yes, I actually do that just to show him. I actually knew that nothing was going to happen.
Basic
Um,
commands. Okay.
for some reason, I thought help command would work when I know that actually help, and then you just put in the command that you want. Sometimes I get confused. And then I realized, oh, LS, that's what I want, just to kind of give them an idea of all the many different ways you can tinker with the game as it's going. Now I'm pretty like to limit the amount of cheats. In fact, actually, I don't cheat all the time. I cheat about half the time, and I usually just do elevate physical, elevate mental, and prospect all. Those are usually my cheats. I don't do anything more. Sometimes I might veer off, and like I think I did the heal all previous game where I was, but typically those are the only cheats. And sometimes I do either no cheats or just prospect all, because prospect all is not the biggest cheat. I think I'm explaining how you could, I used to do the dig V and dig VX, but now I'm explaining the fact that there's a different thing that's less cheaty where it doesn't just show you everything. Yeah, I go down and
Do it. Show me.
yeah, see, I'm about to show him. It's Galena there. So I'm showing you hit A for, designate or, and then, regularly it's just, that's green. Normally it's brown. I show them there. But then I actually undesignate those because they're running around enough. They don't need, even though the miners really don't have anything to do, they don't. I don't necessarily need a whole bunch of galena right now. I got enough on my plate, so I jettison that. And something. Okay, back to military. Yeah, the Zazit, I think it is. It's hard for me to see in the screen I'm in. But that's going to be the militia commander. I couldn't find the word. My brain is just very scattered, so it knows a lot of things, but it doesn't remember them or something. I don't know. So that's going to be the military commander. In fact, what I'm going to do, just to let you know, is I'm going to make Zazit the military commander. Any dwarf that
Yeah,
actually has,
you have to make certain decisions in order to keep babies off the battlefield.
yeah, and all the dwarves with some military skill to a degree, I'm going to put in a unit. I'm even going to. I do that relatively quickly. I don't actually dawdle with it too long. Oh, I think this is where I'm showing how the difference, like basically, that therapists make. As I show them, if you don't use dwarf therapist, what you would normally have to, what you normally have to do. Okay, so I make a military commander. Oh no, I'm wrong. Zazit, I think it's Zazit. He's the cook, or he's a cook. I have a couple, and then I go into military. M, just hit M, me. Yep. Create squad. And then I decide, you know what? I'm going to make my own uniform. Metal armor, you get a metal shield. Those are a little heavier than you need to. But I do give weapon choice, and so yeah. So I create uniform. I think that's C for add uniform. I think I'm explaining things. There we are. Uniform. I think was it capital N to name the uniform? I think I do that next. Oh, I got rid of it for some reason. Oh, no, I didn't. Yeah, there we go. Defenders. Yeah, why not? And these are just the sort of the initial guys. This will not be a permanent military. This is in case, or when, probably not if, but more like when I get my first ogre or invader. It may not be an ogre, but whatever it is that comes by that wants to ruin my day. I'm going to have a few defenders to defend us. And I mentioned how you could also pick color, but that's that's a little bit much. So I put, that you can put metal. I also say, if you can make it even more specific, steel. I change it back to metal because I don't need to be that picky. So yeah, metal. And then I add in pretty much everything else. I decide on wood shields. At first I was like, maybe leather, because I have a leather worker. But I have carpenters too, so I'm going to do the shields. In fact, actually, I think I made at least 2 or 3 shields or something. I don't know. Probably make some more. So at least I'll have a few things going on. And at this point, when I get back into the game, considering this game is mostly me talking to my buddy here, metal helm. Yeah, so me talking with my buddy here. Yeah, I think I just at first I'm talking about how you can make give him 3 metal shirts and what is it 6 cloaks or something crazy. I don't do that though. I like a little reality in my fantasy. But yeah, I get rid of the leggings and I just pick greaves because these are going to be the melee fighters. I'm going to have an archer unit at some point too. In fact, I might immediately, if I do have an ogre, I'll probably immediately levy a archer unit. Or maybe I'll make one before, I don't know. But right at this point of the telling, this is really the only military unit I have. Metal gauntlets. Um, the elves are coming. Another spoiler, I got the elves visiting me at this point in time at the end of this video. Yeah. And yeah, high boots, metal high boots.
Little high boots.
And I don't want to use their crappy wooden weapons because fuck that.
Exactly.
Shield. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? Oh, weapon. Weapon, individual choice. So this isn't, yeah, mentioning that this is not efficient for training.
It's me again,
It's,
by the way.
if you have a unit of hammer dwarves and you have the commander of that unit being a hammer dwarf, then the drills are going to be more efficient, I think. I don't know. I don't need a material for the weapon. Because I'm not buying any of the elven crap anyway, so I won't have it. Wood.
Recording over
Yeah.
again if you can't.
Go with wood. Go with metal. So there we go. Defenders.
Explain when there's a lull.
It's just a little better. And, also, I don't mention this, but, okay, so I'm creating it. Defenders. And then I go through, and I'm going to go back and forth between this and Therapist to see who has some military skill. But also, what was I going to say? I was talking about the military.
I got a phone call and then
it happens to me a lot.
got interrupted, and so I'm chiming in again for the for some reason it restarted.
But I was going to mention that I have that armor. I think the armor that
11
I have,
level 11.
Level 11.
11. Yes.
Actually, I have
Well, it's one way not to have babies in general.
Something
Therapist
else.
open.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how the best troops. Okay, yeah, armor of 11. Yeah, I'm mentioning how I like to pick either males or lesbians because heterosexual or bisexual women can have babies.
Is there like dwarves that could put a petition together for a dwarf daycare?
Sure.
Oh, I was saying eventually they may create a dwarven daycare to solve that problem. But some of you, that actually play
That
this
was
game
my
know
idea.
that,
I didn't see anything
yeah,
about
dwarves
that.
carry their babies everywhere. That's including into battle and into danger rooms, which are horrific. So
Yeah,
I
that's
try and
pretty
keep them all male for that purpose. Or
lesbians.
because they have
Yeah.
the sexual
Don't forget the
identity,
lesbians.
icon, because this game, it covers all bases.
Yeah.
So we're putting together the military. We're gonna end up with 7 dwarves in there. This is all melee.
Dwarves. Melee dwarves.
I'm picking all dwarves that have melee skill.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and military, which is great. Military. So I got a few people.
What a goofy fucking video,
that
I
can
gotta
actually
say.
do something. I even put in my carpenter.
Yeah.
I even, from the first, I can't see the
I can
name
confirm
'cause
that.
it's too small on the screen I'm looking on.
Yeah. I'm
but
looking
my
at the same one.
carpenter from the first, from the Embark.
Yeah, that's the word I was looking for.
So, and then I'm like, because at first I was thinking, no, because, carpenters are important. But you know what? I got 3 of them.
Yeah, I got 3.
I got 3 of them. You can
3 carpenters.
defend the line if you need to.
Sure.
That's how it is.
That's right.
So, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. That's the military.
That's
I'll
the
fill it out more
military.
as time goes on.
Okay.
In fact, actually, I will. Actually, I'll probably keep this, but I'll modify it.
Sure.
That's probably what I'll do. I'll probably modify this because
Probably.
I mentioned how. Yeah, I take this off the fact that it's train minimum of 10, which it's a bad
doesn't work.
default. It's very fixable. You just go in there and I just take them off. It doesn't matter anyway because I'm not going to really give them a place to train because for them to train, they actually have to have a place to train, and I don't know if it's been fixed in this version or it's even
I don't
been
know either.
tinkered with, but if you have it that way and you have a place for that,
You got to kind of work with what you have, you find
Also
a proper
true.
balance.
Uh-huh.
yeah,
It's all
And
about
so,
balance.
If they do have a place for that actual unit to train, the problem is they will stand there and wait for all 10 of them to get together.
Seals of growling.
Yeah,
Seals of growling.
Yep.
I think I even couldn't pronounce growling or whatever, but
It's a Calvin problem with me.
I got lost in my own brain for a second there. Let me find
I
it.
feel you,
Okay.
brother.
So if they do have a place where they can all train, the problem is that a lot of times they will sit there and wait for all 10 of them to get together so they can actually
Stupid
start the
dwarves.
training exercise. I only have 7, so that would be never.
Yeah.
But even if you do have 10, dwarves sleep, they eat, so it's a
Yeah.
problem. I released them, so
They don't poop
they're
yet,
doing
though.
shit now.
Now they're putting together whatever is left of the wall.
Release the dwarves.
Yeah, and still looking for the aquifer, which we do not find yet.
Aquifer,
I don't
you
know. I
idiot.
mean, I was told, I was promised aquifer.
Whetstone.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, whetstone. But I don't find it. I find the caverns.
I don't find it
I
yet.
do find the caverns.
Keep the faith.
Okay, yeah. I make the dining area. So there's that.
They could see that.
Yeah, I find where they suspended it, and I find out why. It's right there.
Aren't I impressive?
I unsuspended, but to no avail. There's no way you can get to there.
Aren't I
'Cause,
stupid?
I mean, they probably should be able to. I mean, there's a ramp that goes up there, but I got to put
Blah,
a flooring
blah,
in.
blah.
I'm not doing that at this point because I want to keep consistency, and I don't want to use jet for everything because I want to because I'm going to run out of jet. I mean, even though I have, well, not 300. It was supposed to be 300, but I had used those 2 jet.
Oh,
On
this
the
is what
artifact.
happened. What the?
So
what
I have
the?
what 8 less. So I have 292.
I don't know why.
Jet. Well, and that's not including all the blocks that I've used to make workshops, which I will eventually tear down and put down below once I start really building up the area. I'll have that going on, but for now, it's nothing I can really do. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm not familiar with this. Not super. I mean, I've actually done a lot of recordings. I haven't actually started uploading stuff until really recently, but I've done a couple 100 hours of recordings on the software. I haven't tinkered around with the editing software so much, so I don't know how this is going to turn out. I guess I'll find out. I would have to imagine that I could save this as a separate file, so if it doesn't work out, I can, I can, redo it. Not that I want to. In case you haven't noticed, I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm like all over the place because I was not expecting this this little this little problem to crop up on me. I was thinking that you were going to be able to hear me talk with Dustin, and yeah, but there are worse problems in the world, from my understanding. This is actually pretty small in the grand scheme of things. There's people out there dying.
Pots are a great container.
Yes, they are. I agree. Oh, I was.
Game changer. Game changer.
I'm talking about how. Oh, in fact, actually, I think this is where I noticed that. Is this? Yeah, I finally got all the sand. I used up
How do
all
you
the
turn the
sand.
sound on?
Oh yeah, I'm having a problem because I can't hear. And neither can you. I can't hear. What do you call it? Sound sense. So I have to turn it back on.
Dwarf therapist.
Yeah, not much therapy, but a lot of spreadsheet. I'm guessing I said something funny.
Oh, I love it. Therapy is a little too straightforward there.
Yeah. It's having a little moment of silence, I suppose. So, don't remember what I'm saying. I think I might be talking about how I'm going to start creating pots again, and it's still on pause. Something about maybe creating the statues. But yeah, I haven't seen that. I mean, the Guardian statues thing before. That's kind of my idea, I think, unless somebody thought it up. It stands to reason that somebody else could have thought it up. I think it's a good idea. Right now, all I see is the dwarves suspend construction of the wall. Yeah, So welcome to the boring part of the video where can't think of anything to say and the video is still going on. I don't know what I'm saying. I could see that the dwarf suspended the construction of the wall still, but that's old news. At least there's no monster coming to kill us. All is quiet in the world. Yeah, it was a long lull. I don't remember what I was saying. But yeah, I guess future plans. I guess at this point I could also think about building a barracks. But more than that, I want to create an area where I can get some masons and also a place to put wood. Get the carpentry going underground. I see a lot of...
Yeah, I'm listening loud and clear, man. I'm watching.
Oh, he was silent for a while, and I wanted to make sure he was there. That I remember. But I also want to have an area down where, because I say the dwarves are getting grumpy by the snow. This is a colder area. A lot of times I do like a freeze, but, because I like to get ice when I can, because it's, you can only get it in places where it freezes. So I'm lucky there, although I don't have any rivers. So to do that, well, first I need to find or you could do that with the water in the caverns, although that's even more effort. Do I have an aquifer? I was promised an aquifer. Sorry about complaining about that again. I think I've probably reached the limit of how much I can complain about that. But yeah, I want to get them underground, so I'm going to start working on that. Work on a bridge, and work more on the entryway and traps and cage traps, and then traps. That's next. I'm going to be working on those as well. Things are moving along, although slowly. Especially this video. This video, things are going slowly. Oh, Dustin's about to say something in response to all the things that I said, but can't currently remember. Enjoy. It's coming up soon.
What's going on here?
I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't remember what's going
Oh,
on.
the winter is over.
Winter's over. What is it? Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep.
It paused. It's spring now. Yep. And Sound Sense is back. And I do hear weather. Another spoiler alert, but then I turn it off because weather's a little distracting to me, especially when it rains. I say something about that I remember. I even say something about, I say, oh, can you hear the little things? Well, I don't know if you already answered that question. And there's that low boom. He can't hear that, though. Or at least he couldn't. Yeah. So, caverns are coming up. I'll see those.
I can't hear that, no.
You couldn't hear the boom. That's where they're... see, there's the weather that kind of threw me off. That boom, that's where they're improving things. Like the Bone Crafter masterfully improving the crossbow, or whatever. I think I turned it off. Why don't I see anything different on my screen? You know what? That's weird. I didn't even notice this, but I'm not even looking. I have a frozen screen. I'm looking on a frozen screen, but it's recording the audio. I don't know how the fuck this thing is going to turn out. I do not know. This is. I guess I'm going to keep going with it. But I've been staring at the dwarves suspend construction of the wall at 14 minutes in for the longest time. I don't know. I'm surprised I didn't notice. It's amazing what I don't notice. It can be quite astounding to me after the fact. It's a thing. I'm gonna keep trudging through. I'm flying blind right now, and funny enough, I have been flying blind for a long time. but apparently things are progressing. I have no eyes.
What funky business are you describing?
I don't know. About 15 minutes in, and I can't see what's going on. So I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I think that's why I was so dumbfounded. I mean, I'm it's my normal state, but it was a little bit more so than normal. All right, so yeah, at some point we do find the caverns. Hopefully you can see that. Otherwise, oh, I gotta restart this video. I don't know what's going on. So, uh, if you're hoping to see a video where the person making the video is very confused and it's yeah, congratulations, you found it.
Yeah, absolutely. Protection.
Yeah, protection. I'm talking about something about protecting the dwarves. I don't know, but this is weird because I can't. Maybe it is. Maybe you do see. I don't know. I'm gonna stop speculating on it. Well, I did kind of want to create more original content.
What do you
of doing that.
theorize is going on here?
I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I did want to do something. I did want to be different. Although sometimes different is not good. Sometimes it's just different. There's a reason why nobody else has done it. Wasn't my intention, but maybe you're seeing something else other than what I'm seeing. Maybe you're seeing what I'm seeing. I gotta stop speculating on that. All right, so this is a little bit more challenging for me because I don't have visual. I don't have visual idea of what's going on. But I'm doing Dwarf Fortress things. Oh, there's the cat explaining how it's loud. Explaining how the cat found a dwarf. So, going along, you're hopefully seeing things happen. If you are seeing things happen in the game, because if I find out it's just frozen on this recording screen, then redoing this or something, I don't know. So we shall see.
Yes, yes. I see it all now. It's
Possession.
so beautiful.
So tell me, what are the more mechanics going to do?
Oh, I was talking about mechanics because I hadn't had anybody who actually laid that cage trap yet. From way back when I
Oh, yeah.
first.
Then what just happened?
It's a strange mood. It's a possession, so they won't gain any skill, but we're going to gain an artifact. Wow, what a clunky episode. If I were you, I'd want to slap me. So I made a few people mechanics just to give them the mechanic skills so they can actually load that trap. The dwarf is going to go up and claim the metal ship's
This workshop's
workshop.
mine now.
Yep. And he's not going to be able to find what he needs. He needs cloth and
Okay.
thread, and I'm missing one of those things. I think I don't know what I'm missing. I'm gonna. I hadn't actually completely resolved
Your
this.
industrious dwarves are lacking in industry.
Oh, he's talking about. Oh, I don't know. He's saying something about how I can't find.
Your dwarves of your industrious dwarves are not very industrious right now.
Yeah. Nope. I got an incoming call. I gotta pause this. I don't know how to do that though. Hang on a sec.
Well, they're not doing what you want them to do. You're sending them. They're going to do a task and sitting there. Okay. And then the guys that yeah, and then the idlers that are trying to do the aquifer. Oh, I see. Well, can we pause it at this point for a second? All right, bye now.